the thing that I'm most interested in learning from you, given that you are Green Beret, Special Forces sniper, a lot of time around firearms, and have done this from a presidential detail, the specifics around the shooter on top of the roof, how he gets up there, how he isn't seen, and then the response specifically from the Secret Service snipers. That, can you just game out sort of what you think happened, why they seem to hesitate, why they seem to flinch, who shot first? Have you been able to work out any of that?
Yeah, quite a bit of it. I was actually like taking some notes about it, trying to get my head wrapped around what seems like such an impossibility. And so this is, can you see this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll go the other way. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Over here is where the former president was standing, and this is the negative pitch roof. So he climbed up here. There's a ladder right there, and he climbed up on top and then clambered over to here. Back behind that parking lot back there is the staging area for the local law enforcement. So negative pitch roof looks like this, right? Dude gets up on a ladder, climbs up on top of the roof. The fact that this building has a ladder and has a negative sloped roof hiding the person on the backside. So a sector sketch, which would have a range card, every counter sniper that is put in a position like that has this diagram. And on it has the buildings, it has distances, you have target reference points, you have distance. So like you have pre-assigned distances, so you know what adjustments you need to make for every single shot from your left to right limit within your sector of fire. And on that range card, there is an gigantic X, which is that specific building, because the security detail that did the survey of the area would have marked that this building has a ladder, and that this building, which is in small arms fire, which this building has direct line of sight to the podium. We know that counter sniper would have had that on his range card, in his sector sketch. And this supposed 20-year-old walks around the backside of this building, goes to this ladder, gets up on top of this roof.
So just to interject there, it seems like the ladder's already there. He didn't carry it in. It's like affixed to the back of the building or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's two metal buildings, and there's like this little valley between the two, which is ominously protected from most observation angles besides really just one direction. So like, and it's receded from the rest of the open space. All of the people at the rally saw this 20-year-old walk up, with a rifle, start clambering up this building, and for 4 minutes they're screaming for law enforcement to come over. And which one of them finally does, goes up this ladder, gets on top of this slope roof, and the sniper is on the opposite end. He's over here. Mm-hmm. And as this guy's climbing up this roof, he cannot be seen until his head comes over like the prolongation, like the top of the crest of that roof. So it's actually a perfect location for an assassin to go in position, which is why it's so insanely believable that everyone didn't know about that roof. Once he gets up there, and people have been screaming that there's a guy with a gun over there, a law enforcement officer goes up, he climbs up the ladder, he takes a peek, the kid with the gun turns around, sees the cop jumps back down, gets scared from the kid with the gun, the kid turns back around, comes back, and starts slinging some rounds towards the former president.
So you think that the impetus for the shooter to begin firing was that he was stumbled upon by a local law enforcement officer?
Yep. I think that's why the shots were rushed, and he shot so fast, and that's why there was such confusion. So if you go back to that kind of like instant command system, you do have one person in charge, but you have multiple organizations on a bunch of different frequencies of radio.
I was going to say their communication from law enforcement to Homeland to special Right.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So Department of Homeland Security, you got like mall guards that are using little Motorola radios, or maybe they're like texting each other. You got local law enforcement. Then you have county law enforcement. Then you have state law enforcement. All of them, they're all on different frequencies. All of them, usually you take like one person that is from the command organization and you embed them with the other organizations so that that person can be like the conduit and continuity between that unit's communication back to the incident commander. That's normally what happens. But ultimately, you end up with a game of telephone that takes a few seconds for that information to get circulated around. Obviously, now if we switch from where the assassin's building is over to the counter sniper team, you could see for a good 40 seconds, they have directed all of their attention towards the shooter's building, towards the would-be assassin's building. They're looking at it, and he's doing the super amateur thing where he's coming off his glass.
So just before you even do that, who is it that's going to be up there? Is that a spotter and a shooter? Is that two snipers? Yep. What's the kit that they're using, etc.?
Yeah. So you're going to have a sniper and a spotter, but the spotter also is a sniper. So you have two really competent shooters. I can't, I'm not going to get like too really specific into the equipment that they're using because it's kind of sensitive. And people are going to try to kill the former president, a whole bunch for the next 4 months. And the last thing we want is people to understand the capabilities or the lack of capabilities around
probably safe to say that it wasn't basic kit. It's something that allows them to be very efficient very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Like every single shooter, every single PRS guy on the planet's like, ooh, that's a nice setup right there. Like that's the good stuff. That's a great caliber selection, by the way, for a person to include armor penetrating. Like, hey, that's a really great laser rangefinder you got on there. Man, that's a really fantastic optic you got on there. Man, that's a really great tool that assesses the wind and gives you a pretty accurate estimate. Hey, that's a really good set. Like, it was all primo stuff.